Hello. My name's Pete Hammond. I'm going to moderate today. How did you all? Hello. Thank you very much. How did you all like the piano lesson? Yes. Really excited to bring on our panel here. I should say that one of them is still en route. That would be Danielle Deadwyler. She will be here and she'll just magically appear as we talk. That's the plan. Let me introduce you first to one of the stars. He also starred on Broadway in the revival of the piano lesson. And tomorrow night he will be, Monday night he will be receiving the Actor Award at the Critics' Choice Association celebration of Black cinema. So, very excited about that. The cast also received the Gotham's Ensemble Tribute Award. And please welcome Boy Willie himself, John David Washington. And keeping it all in the family too, this is the feature film debut of Malcolm Washington, who just received an Independent Spirit Award nomination for Best First Feature. Very cool. And has been named one of Variety's 10 directors to watch. This is, like I said, his feature film debut. He's been making other films and short films and things, and he did such a great job. Please welcome Malcolm Washington. All right, have a seat, and we'll just get going, and Danielle should be here very soon. I don't know. We're watching on the side here, but nothing. Keep you breaking news soon. John David, you did this on Broadway and now on film. Was there a big difference for you in moving from the stage to the cinematic version here?
There were some significant differences. I tried to, for the film, really concentrate on behavior. You know, the camera, it don't lie. You know, it really reads you. So you don't have to be as voluminous. You don't have to be as presentational as you do on stage. You know, I don't have to reach the people back there because the camera's there and it'll capture everything. So I really wanted to focus on behavior. And obviously our job is to uplift and amplify our explicit words, but we get to do that now through behavior, through the way we listen, and our wonderful scene partners in the atmosphere, the set deck that Malcolm created. It really gave me new perspective and new meaning for the character.
Did you know when you went into the show that you were going to be doing the film, or did that come along? Because Denzel, who was also a producer on this, has wanted to bring all of August Wilson's movies to the screen. And so I imagine that there might have been a plan at some point when you were doing the show.
He might have had one, but seriously, I had to do the play. That's really what was on my mind. I had to do the play, and I felt like it was survival. If I can do the play, and I don't fail, I can do anything. So that was the plan, going in, get on Broadway, do this eight shows a week. And, you know, and when I found out that Malcolm wanted to do it, I got very excited, and I was on board.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you that here. Malcolm's your younger brother, and now he's suddenly
in age.
and he's suddenly calling the shots on the set, which is so great. Malcolm, what about taking on this project? You know, in terms of how you want to make your feature film debut with this particular work.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Also, I have to acknowledge that thank you all for showing up, you know, and staying for the conversation, watching the film with the people, with the community. This is, you know, what it was intended for, so thank you. But it was really exciting. It was exciting. I truly believe in filmmaking as community building and the thought of coming together as a community and make a film that reflects a community and honor our ancestors and all who came before us with the work. That was so exciting in itself that it kind of just became the creative life force to just push the thing up the hill.
Yeah, so what was your biggest challenge in taking this on? It is a Washington family affair, there's no question, because it's not just Denzel producing, you starring, you directing, your sister also is a producer on, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
And I know at Telluride I sat next to your mother, Pauletta, who thinks she ran the whole show, so.
She's right.
Be correct.
Yeah. That's what she told me. So,
yeah, but you know what? We all were involved, yes, but it was much bigger than our family. It's like, this is a film about a culture, you know, and this is about a culture that's connected to each other.
and
Yes.
let me just stop you once, but here comes Danielle Deadwyler.
What's up, guys?
All right, well,
Sorry.
oh, no
I
problem.
just wanted to be on CP.
We've been, yeah. We're just talking about the movie and things. Malcolm was talking about how it was bigger. We were talking about all the Washingtons involved and everything, but it was bigger than that, is what you were saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. And in what way? In what way?
Well, in this film is a part of a larger lineage, right? There's the legacy of August Wilson and so many greats that are connected to his work. James Earl Jones and Courtney B. Vance and Alfre Woodard and Viola Davis and so many others who we understand that we're making a work that's connected to that, right? So we find power in that, but also a call to duty to make something of a certain caliber on a level. And you want to honor that, and you want to push it to the next generation. You want to push it further. So it was both embodying that and finding power in all that came before us, but also interpreting it ourselves and bringing our souls to the thing, so that we could, imprint something that could live on forever and ever after us.
Danielle, phenomenal performance here. Really. Again, and you are nominated for Best Supporting Performance Film Independent Spirit Awards.
Yes.
Which is cool. So taking on Bernice, you were not in the Broadway stage version as 4 members of the cast, including John David Wirth. So you're coming in doing your own interpretation of this. Talk about your experience doing this film.
Oh, what a delight to walk into a room with committed men, committed, little Skylar, everyone who is super committed to revering this work in the way that Malcolm just spoke about. Myself and Corey came in and just wanted to be super over-prepared. You want to just do what they've been doing and bring that into this new thing, into the making of the film. Malcolm and I sat down and we had a rich digging into things that we just shared as artists. Things that we've been reading, things that we kind of listened to, and then wove that into things that I was thinking about with regard to Zora Neale Hurston, right, as a historical figure who was living at the time, doing rigorous work in the North and the South, learning about hoodoo, reading and writing about Black people, Black Southern folks, and then linking that in an understanding deeper with regard to spirituality of Black folks at the time, of Black American Christianity, linking that to West African spirituality, and crafting these pathways, these arcs that Bernice is haunted by, of how to rear one's own self from the traditional qualities of their life into something more hybridic in getting to who you authentically are. That's what she's negotiating, and then coming into a spiritual self and coming into the woman that she wants to be, in conjunction with negotiating the grief and the loss that is triple fold on her in the loss of her parents, as well as her husband Crawley, and then wanting to really craft the legacy, because she is in amongst all of that trying to be a mother, and the labor is just what is massively weighted upon her shoulders. Be crafting the legacy that is in the form of Maritha, as well as who she is seeking to be moving forward in her life post all of this, and then negotiating the whirlwind of masculinity that is abound.
I particularly loved the yeah, it was great. Yeah. I love the conflict here and the different life views here of Boy Woolley and Bernice, and the way that it's played out here between the two of you. What was that like in developing that chemistry, the family chemistry here?
Go ahead.
What was that like? It was terrifying. She's a force of nature. I was excited to, particularly those moments, the prize fights, if you will. the big arguments about the piano and how to take care of the family and move the family forward into the next generation. Those kinds of discussions, I think, that are laid out beautifully by August Wilson are an actor's dream. And so when the words are perfect, when your co-stars are perfect, and actually in a way it makes it easier for you to just follow the road, which are the words, and to essentially just listen to your scene partners. And once I got information from this one right here on how she was doing it, it informed how I was going to do it, it informed how I was going to react. And what you saw was just pretty natural. I don't know if I planned any of that stuff that you all saw. I was just reacting to this force here. So it was a beautiful experience.
Was there a difference? Danielle Brooks, I think, played it on Broadway, right? Did you notice a difference in the way you approached your role with the two different actors?
Indeed, but I had different direction. LaTanya Jackson was the first African American woman to direct the August Wilson play on Broadway.
Is that right?
Yes. So
She, of course, is married to Samuel Jackson, who's in both versions.
Originated the role in 1987 in her repertoire. So I had different assignments, from her direction to Malcolm's direction. I'd say Malcolm's direction was more, I likened it to, Cassavetes. It was just open and free and naturalistic, and the best idea in the room wins, and really embracing the mistakes and the fumbles and the oopsie daisies and I didn't know that was going to happen. Let's try it again. I think that was refreshing for me because there is a camera there that's going to catch it all. So as long as you're honest and in line with your scene partners, there are no mistakes.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the Cassavetes reference, Malcolm. I mean, that's major right there.
I wouldn't say that we got there. but Cassavetes is a filmmaker I admire and somebody that we spoke about before we started shooting. And I think with a work like this, where this is a project that in some capacity has been produced many times over, and there's a certain kind of freedom you want out of it. You want to be surprised, and I think by employing a kind of more free-flowing, organic, creative process, it kind of brought life into the thing. Something that can be over-rehearsed and just still.
Now, you also are the co-writer of the screenplay, and who's your co-writer?
Virgil Williams.
Yeah, Virgil. And so you're taking a play, which a lot of people have seen, and it's a classic already, and you're putting your own stamp cinematically on it, which I thought was so key about watching this movie, because it truly is cinematic. It is not a filmed stage play by any standard. Really, obviously, they just saw it. You can tell what goes into it. So when you approach this great work here, August Wilson and all of that, what's your thinking as a writer?
First, to understand it, right? First, it's like when you're learning anything, you want to learn the rules so that you can break them. And so first it was learning the intention behind everything, both in this work and in his canon, moreover, understanding what his intentions were, who he was as a man, what his belief system, what he stood on, where he's from, all of these things that go into informing the work itself. And then you kind of move through that phase and you think about yourself as an artist. What are you trying to say? How do you see the world? What is the story that you're trying to tell within the framework of this great work? And these things aren't, the way that I'm speaking about it now is very clear and succinct, but it's not, the creative process is anything but that. But looking back on it, that's what happens, where your voice kind of starts to rise out of the thing and reframes the story and focuses it in a way that resonates with you. And I think that the story of fathers and sons and mothers and daughters and ancestry and legacy and lineage, these are all things that I'm acutely aware of that have been in my mind for my whole life, and that's kind of what rose out of the story that I wanted to kind of go after.
Yeah, Danielle, this is a period piece, obviously, but it has great relevance for audiences today. That's who you're making it for. People, maybe young, very young people now seeing this and experiencing it. What was the importance of the relevance of this story to you?
I mean, it's always about love at root. John David talks about this tension between them, this conflict, and he specifically talks about, really, you're coming in with a certain kind of rage, but at the root of it all is love, the desire to be understood, it's a desire to be connected. And I think that there's a lot of fraught relationships, societally, nationally, globally, and this is an opportunity to think about how conflict is constructed, where is it coming from, what is that trauma, how it's historical, how it's very present, and it reaches across time in that way, and that we have to confront. If you do not confront, then you will forever be haunted by that thing. And when you do that, there is an opportunity to manifest what has been hidden, which is a love. I mean, they obviously have a love between them, but it's difficult to get to that if you are shrouded.
John David, we mentioned Samuel L. Jackson, and you mentioned that he originated the role of Boy Wooly in 1987? 1987. I don't know if I were an actor on this and I'm working opposite him, and that I would be so intimidated. I don't know how you were, but what was that like working opposite him?
I'm glad to be alive right now.
That's not nice. He's a teddy bear.
Oh, wow, see, now you're talking. No, Malcolm talked about it a little bit too. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. I think of Stephen Henderson as well. I think of, like you said, James Earl Jones. I mean, Tiny Jackson herself, she was a Wilsonian as well. I have an opportunity to have their blessing. Mr. Potts, who's done all August Wilson's plays, they're giving us their blessing to do this. They're inviting us into this, what feels like this sacred, secret society of performance and this rites of passage. So that's what got me through the fear and the hesitation. And I knew I was going to be a different artist after that because of what you're talking about, because of giants like this as well. So it was a great opportunity for me, and he totally embraced us. We felt nothing but comfort and tough love at times, but necessary. It was necessary. I loved it all. That was my love language. You know what I mean? Because it's going to bring the best out of us. I mean, he's been very open about his relationship to this play. He talked about the relapse, and after they brought the play to Broadway, Charles Dutton ended up taking his role, and he was the understudy. Can you imagine? So he helped develop it, and then he has to now be a backup. You know what I mean? And Charles Dutton ended up, I think he won the Tony for that. And he talks about this publicly, and I thought about my own life, my relationship to this role, and how it was going to be different. I've been sitting with this role since 2019, and I was shooting this other film in Asia. I was in Indonesia walking this volcano, right? Yeah. Active volcano, and I was reciting some of the monologues of Boy Willie. I was just like, like, what is going on? And there was some kind of connection I had about who the character is in that location. So it was really cool.
Did the director of that film get confused when you started doing that?
It was on all the time.
Oh.
Again, I was making sure you said being over-prepared. That's what it was about.
That's so funny. And you...
Yeah, if you watch the creator closely, there's a couple Boy Willie lines.
And you also, your father Denzel is also a director. He's directed, these adaptations of August Wilson too. You've got the reins now, yet he's as a producer. Was he there on the set, or how did he handle that with you?
He was, I think it's really special when you have a filmmaker as a producer. I know I've heard stories of how Scorsese is as a producer, how Spielberg is as a producer, or somebody who's been through it already. They understand kind of how to help you, and sometimes helping you is like letting you figure it out. I don't know if you watch basketball, but he was kind of more in like the Phil Jackson school of coaching, where it's like, I'm not calling a timeout, you figure it out, So he was very, very cool in that way of of supporting when needed, but this is your thing, take it, you drive it, steer the ship. And we were so wonderful, the community that we made this film with, that everybody was together. There was no ego in the room, there was no competition in the room, there was just a desire to do the work properly, do it justice, and come prepared, as they've all been speaking to. So I think anytime you have that kind of setup, you're ready for success.
Yeah. I heard him on Jimmy Kimmel the other night saying, I was there for a week or something. I said, this is fine, and then he left.
Yeah. He left with love.
Well, yeah, that too.
Gladiator 2 was calling him.
The Gladiator, I know, so he wasn't even around. And he wasn't there to see you on stage when you knew it or something, I heard. He actually...
He surprised me.
You did not know he was in the audience the one night.
Yeah, and thank God he didn't tell me because I wouldn't have been in. I didn't like when people would tell me when they were going to be there. And one time we were huddling up as a group, as a cast, and then Sam Jackson said, "You know, Hope will be here tonight," and it just was like, oh. But it was a great surprise, and I think somebody recorded it too. He got me pretty good.
Was that right? Because your mother came every night.
She's seen it about 50 times.
Yeah.
I have notes every night.
She had notes every night.
Yeah.
Look, this is a group of actors. That would freak me out. You know? Notes every night.
Just about it.
That's crazy. So this has received the Gotham, which were just last week, the Gotham's Ensemble Tribute Award. And I want to talk a little bit, Malcolm, about the rest of the cast, the ensemble.
Yes.
You know, because this is SAG. SAG actually, and I wish the Oscars had it too, quite frankly, an ensemble category. Because it's so important how casts work together and all of that. It's not just putting a bunch of well-known actors and there's 7 of them there. No, it's working together and creating this believable family and this believable group.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and having witnessed it firsthand, you see it's like double bouncing on a trampoline, you know, and what they bring out of each other, and the generosity. Because you all know how it is making a film. You have something that can feel so organic and the scene that's like so you're finding yourself through, and then you have to break it off into all these kind of segments, and you tear it apart in the process of making the film, and you shoot one side, then you shoot the other side, and then after lunch you shoot the third person side, and by then we're in a totally different space mentally. So what each actor provided for each other, and being there for them, and giving them more when they were off camera than what they gave even on camera, to give them that energy to feed off of. It was incredible. But I have to shout out Michael Potts and Samuel L. Jackson for being kind of our elder statesmen that brought all that experience in the room. Got to shout out Cody Hopkins, who walked into this production brand new, who hadn't done it on Broadway and brought so much into the room, and Ray Fisher, who came over with John David and Sam and Mr. Potts from Broadway, but reimagined the whole thing, and Skylar Smith, our youngest actor in the ensemble, that came in at 9 years old, going toe-to-toe with Sam Jackson first day, and ad-libbing with John David, after lunch. So all of these people gave themselves to each other and formed a family, and that was such a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah. How did that compare for you, Danielle, with working with all of these fantastic actors together?
Okay, I'll tell the truth now. It is completely and utterly parallel. I think we just had an immediate love, right? I know he hit me first and just did the most honorable, beautiful man, human thing in welcoming me and being excited to work together, to learn each other. Like, and most folks are just coming to go to work, but coming to build a relationship, which therein becomes a building of family. And he let me torture him.
As you said,
I'm at a place where I can do that now, But and that's an extremely significant portion of why it gelled in the way that it did, because we were able to be free and to be playful, because that is what family is. That's what Black family is. That is the joning, the hard love, that lightness enables you to go to all kinds of depths together.
And just to speak to that, I think there's so much lore and romanticized stories on sets where people are like, oh, I didn't want to introduce the actors to each other. I wanted that conflict. I think it's so hard to find love between strangers, to make it feel warm and lived in, and it feel like your grandmother's house when you walk in between the characters. And there's so much submission that's required of that. There's so much giving yourself over to the other person, putting your humanity in somebody else's hands, and in exchange of that, to make that happen. And what I'm so pleased with is how each of these actors came together and gave themselves over to the other, put their humanity in each other's hands, in honor of the work. And what came out of that is something I'll be forever indebted to.
Well, I did get a signal over there in the dark of here. It's hard to see, but they were waving their hand, which means our time is up. And I want to to thank you for coming out and talking about the Canal election.
If you guys should come in, this guy.